Speaking of great work, we're joined now by Mark Richt of the ACC Network, kind enough to take a couple minutes for us as we kind of dive further into college football season. And Coach, it's a weird one, but at least we've got football. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been great. We're worried if we'd have any ball at all or anything that seemed like a normal fall, but thankfully the fan bases kind of demanded it, and the presidents and the commissioners decided to figure out a way to get it done. And I think it came down to the safety of the players. Obviously, I think they realized that them being on campus with everybody having a watchful eye on them was better than them being on their own, and I agree.
Yeah, I think we lost Coach Rick. Want to reach back out to him, Jamie? Just like that.
We had him there for a while. We'll get him back, hopefully.
Can we blame Comcast for that, too?
No.
No, we can't.
No, don't do that.
We can't. We can't. We'll try and grab him back.
I believe he is back on the line there.
We got him? Okay.
Yep.
Hey, Coach, sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, I'm glad there's football this fall, for sure.
Hey, Mark, we've got some great ACC games this weekend. You look at Miami playing at Clemson, around here, NC State at Virginia, and a game we've been talking about already a lot this week, Virginia Tech at North Carolina. That should be a heck of a ball game down in Chapel Hill, don't you think?
I do. This week, of all the weeks that I've been doing the ACC Network, which is, a year and a half or so, is by far the toughest pick'em week. I mean, you got Virginia and NC State. You got North Carolina, Virginia Tech. Even Duke and Syracuse is a toss-up. Pittsburgh, Boston College, toss-up. Notre Dame ought to beat Florida State, you would think. But even now, Miami has gotten in position to where it looks like the Miami-Clemson pick is a little bit tougher than it would be even a year ago or a couple of weeks ago. So it's an exciting time for sure, but the Virginia Tech game against North Carolina, North Carolina obviously has not played to their potential, at least offensively at this point. Virginia Tech's been through heck with the coronavirus, but they've found a way to, field a team and win games. You got to give them a lot of props for that. So I'd like to see North Carolina's offense kick butt like they're supposed to. I haven't seen much of that. But, Virginia Tech's defense will have something to say about it for sure.
Coach, talk about what it's like or what you can imagine it's like to try and coach in this environment, because you're talking about Carolina not really clicking offensively and Tech with the COVID, and all the people who were missing. And, I imagine a big part of it for Carolina is you're trying to keep kids on the practice field. And it's just so surreal. What do we even take away from this season? It almost feels like we're just happy to have football and we can't really read too much into it because it's so surreal.
Well, I think the games are still obviously very meaningful to these players and coaches and fans, and I think as the season goes on, they'll get sharper as they go. There is a lot of truth in the fact without spring ball, without a fall camp, and North Carolina waiting, 3 weeks in between games, you just can't expect them to be, hitting on all cylinders. It's just not happening. And but I think the coaches, in particular, are really earning their money this year. People ask me, "Do you have the itch to go back?" I said, "Not this year." But coaching is tough enough as it is. All the things you have to manage, and then you got to manage a pandemic, and you're kind of sitting there waiting. 3 days a week to see who's playing and who's not, and you might find out on a Friday that, some guy can't play or a group of guys can't play, even though they practiced all week and you prepared for them. It's just wild. But I got a lot of respect for those guys and the job they're doing, and the players too, everybody. Everybody's got to make sacrifices to play football this year. The players aren't able to do the things they normally do when they're not practicing, when they're not playing. And so they're paying the price too, for sure.
Mark, What are your early impressions of Khalil Herbert, the running back for Virginia Tech, who's off to a great start? He's leading the nation right now in rushing, averaging about 156 a game. He's been really a pleasant surprise for the Hokies out of the gate.
Yeah, no doubt. Averaging 10 yards a carry, and or at least in the last ball game he did 200 yards on 20 carries was amazing. He's a beast. The running game is not in question at Virginia Tech. Really it's the passing game right now. You got Burmeister, who, has made some nice throws, but, like last week, he's 9 out of 25. I mean, can he help a team throw their way back into a ball game if they get behind? Right now they've had great starts, and they've been very powerful running the ball. And Burmeister's been a big part of the running game, but, are they going to be able to throw it when they need to? And, I like the Blackshear kid too. So they don't have just one guy they can hand the ball to. They got two great backs and a quarterback who can run. That's super in the run game. But there are some games where you just flat out got to throw it to win it. So, can he do that, or is Hendon Hooker waiting in the wings? I mean, what's going to happen? I don't know.
Mark Richt joining us on the Sportsline with the ACC Network, formerly, of course, head coach at Miami and Georgia, and we're talking some ACC football now, and looking, at least one more quick one on this Carolina and Virginia Tech game. You kind of talked about Carolina stumbling offensively and not really clicking on all cylinders. Do you expect that to start to work itself out a little bit, or do you think that maybe they were overestimated a little bit?
No, I think you have to expect them to work their way out of it. I mean, Sam Howell was such a phenomenal player as a true freshman. I mean, we all know the things that he did a year ago, and it kind of happened that way with Trevor Lawrence. We had this phenomenal true freshman year, and sophomore year he started out with throwing a bunch of picks and doing a few things that were not like him. So I think Sam will settle down. He's got Carter and Williams at the running back positions. You got De'Ami Brown, Javonte Williams, Caffrey Brown all of a sudden is showing up. Des Newsome. I mean, they've got the talent, and they're going to put it together. I'd be shocked if they don't.
Mark, Virginia played pretty competitively against Clemson this past weekend. I know the Tigers won the game, but the Cavaliers kept it a game most of the way. What are your early impressions of Virginia? They've got NC State this Saturday. Is this Cavaliers team better than maybe people expected it would be?
They're better than I thought they'd be, for sure. I can honestly say that, and a lot of it has to do with Brennan Armstrong. I kind of knew defensively they had a lot of veterans back and guys that you thought could, be great players. But the offense was a big question mark. I mean, when you lost Bryce, I mean, that was crazy. The amount of, almost 80% of their offense gone. And but Brennan Armstrong, I mean, he played his tail off. I thought, he had over 360 yards, or around 360 yards of total offense against Clemson. They earned every bit of it. And if, they don't, get that spectacular interception that I'm speaking about Clemson, when Lavelle Davis Jr. was out there in the end zone, that ball gets thrown a little bit higher for that 6'7" kid to go get it. That game would have got real tight at that point. But very impressive what they did. This Billy Kemp, the fourth, not very big, but caught 10 balls for almost 100 yards. They still got Terrell Jana. I mentioned already Lavelle Davis Jr., this true freshman that kind of came out of nowhere. The tight end, Pujan, who's another 6'7" guy. Talapapa can pound the ball, running the ball. So they're better than I thought, without a doubt.
And you look at this team, and I know there was a lot of Virginia fans that were worried about Perkins being gone and, the resurgence of Virginia football under Coach Mendenhall, really being all about Bryce Perkins. But, I mean, I think, and again, I get we're only a couple games in, but, if you're a Virginia fan, you've got to feel really good about the direction of this program right now, don't you?
No, you do. There's no doubt about it. You hate to sit there and say, well, you start bragging about a team after they got beat, but we do know Clemson is the class of the league right now, and for them to play the way they did that day was impressive to me. They ran the ball much better than I thought they could run the ball. They pass protected better than I thought they could pass protect. And then you got guys like Joey Blunt and Zane Zandier, Noah Taylor, Charles Snowden. These guys on defense, Nick Grant, they've played a lot of good ball over their careers, and they're going to continue to play really good defense. They're a big, strong team whose offense all of a sudden is better than we thought. They probably had belief in it, but we just didn't see it until this year, and I've been impressed with them.
Mark, the game of the week, Saturday night, 7th-ranked Miami at number 1 Clemson. Is this Miami team good enough to upset Clemson in Death Valley?
Well, they have a lot of the ingredients that you need. Obviously, you got to have a quarterback like, Derek King, to have this kid come on like he did. Game 1, he looked like a runner who could pass. Game 2, he looked like a passer who could run. Now he just looks like that complete quarterback that you need to play in this kind of a big game and be able to, give the defense trouble. I mean, if the quarterback can run on passing plays, you got a passing play, you got to cover everybody. They've got the 2 tight ends that are outstanding in Brevin Jordan and Will Mallory, and they got some receivers that are pretty sharp too. They got 3 running backs that can play, 2 true freshmen that are really coming on. So, he's got some weapons. When he drops back to throw the ball, they got to be legitimate in their coverage. But then if he takes off, he's just that X factor that it's hard to defend against. And then, Miami defensively has been very good for the last few years. They are struggling a little bit. I mean, Louisville put 500 yards on them, so you wonder what's going on there. But I do think they're strong enough defensively to stay in it. And they got a tremendous punter, Lou Headley, Mr. Tattoo. And, they got this Jose Barragales, the kicker from FIU last year that ended up beating him a year ago. And all of a sudden he's kicking 57-yard field goals. He's 7 for 7. So they've got a lot of the ingredients that it takes, but, Clemson's still Clemson until somebody knocks them off.
Mark Richt joining us here on the Sportsline. And, Coach, before we let you go, and we really do appreciate your time, some rough news the other day, and I know a guy that, is very near and dear to you, but Bobby Bowden diagnosed with COVID, and certainly everybody's thoughts and prayers go with him.
Right.
Tough guy. I mean, you're betting on him, no doubt, right?
No doubt. Well, he's 30 years older than me. I'm 60. He's 90. And he's just been, doing so well health-wise for all these years. And this last year or so has been kind of a rough road for him. And I think he's tired and just, just tired of being dealing with certain things. I know he had an infection at one time, was hospitalized earlier and came out of it. But if anybody can come out of it well, it'll be Coach Bowden. And of course, I made it very public that I love him, and he led me to the Lord back in '86 when I was on staff, and I'll never forget him for that.
Certainly thoughts and prayers with him.
No doubt.
Mark, just a couple of seconds left. Mack Brown has come back and is leading North Carolina. He's having great success down in Chapel Hill. Would Mark Richt ever consider a return to coaching?
Well, you never say never, but like I said, this year I'm glad I'm everything that's going on, I can promise you.
You dig?
You never know.
You digging the TV thing?
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun being on a team where I'm not in charge of it. So. It's been good. I really enjoy it.
Well, we enjoy watching. Keep up the great work. Thanks so much for taking a couple minutes for us, and love to stay in touch down the road.
All right, you guys have a great day.
You too, Mark. Thank you.
Right on.
Mark Richt, Coach Richt, taking a couple minutes for us, joining us here on the Sportsline. And tough news about Bobby Bowden. You just never know.
Coach Richt made it public that he loves Bobby Bowden. He's rooting for him. We all are.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.